These 5 engineering secrets reveal why your plastic Coke or Pepsi bottle, that plastic container, is never perfectly round. Right now, there's probably a polyethylene terephthalate bottle within arm's reach of you. Maybe it's water, soda, or some other drink. Take a look at it, really look. You'll notice something fascinating. It's not actually round, not perfectly round anyway. Those seemingly random ridges, those indented panels, that weird star-shaped bottom on your Coke bottle, none of that's decoration. Every curve, every bump, every line on that bottle exists because of engineering problems that most people never think about. The story of why bottles look the way they do is really the story of pressure, physics, and some incredibly clever solutions to problems that stumped engineers for decades. And it all started with one man's simple question in 1967. But before we dive into that story, we need to understand that modern plastic bottles trace their roots back to 1941, when British chemist J. Rex Winfield at Imperial Chemical Industries first invented polyethylene terephthalate. His breakthrough in polymer science laid the foundation for what would become the most important packaging material in history. Nathaniel Wyeth worked as a chemical engineer for DuPont, and he had a problem that kept bothering him. He was looking at a plastic detergent bottle one day and wondered, could you put soda in something like this? It seemed like such an obvious idea. Glass bottles were heavy, they shattered, they cost a fortune to ship. Plastic seemed perfect. So Wyeth tried it. He grabbed a plastic detergent bottle, filled it with carbonated soda, and waited to see what would happen. What happened was disaster. The bottle basically exploded. Not in a dramatic movie-style explosion, but it bulged out into this weird, misshapen balloon that couldn't even stand upright. The plastic just couldn't handle the pressure. This is where our story really begins, because Wyeth had stumbled onto the fundamental problem that shapes every plastic bottle design even today: pressure and stress concentration. When you carbonate a beverage, you're forcing carbon dioxide gas into liquid under pressure. A typical soda contains pressure between 40 and 70 pounds per square inch. That might not sound like much, but it's enough force to turn a weak container into a balloon. Wyeth spent the next 6 years experimenting with different peat formulations and intrinsic viscosity levels until he perfected biaxially oriented polyethylene terephthalate. In 1973, he received his patent, and by 1978, Coca-Cola and Pepsi introduced the first 2-liter PET bottles to the world using the revolutionary ISBM process, injection stretch blow molding. But here's the thing, those first bottles weren't the sleek one-piece containers we know today. They had a round bottom that couldn't stand up on its own, so they had to glue a separate plastic base cup to the bottom just to make the bottle functional. This brings us to our first engineering secret: why soda bottles have those weird star-shaped bottoms that look like the bottom of a bell pepper. When engineers tried to solve the base cup problem by making bottles with flat bottoms, they ran into the same issue Wyeth had encountered years earlier. The flat bottom couldn't handle the internal pressure and would bulge outward into a dome, creating excessive von Mises stress that made the bottle impossible to stand upright. It was like trying to balance a ball on a table. The solution was brilliant: the petaloid base. Instead of one large flat surface that would bulge under pressure, engineers created 5 small curved sections arranged in a star pattern. Each petal is essentially a small arch, and arches are incredibly strong structures. The valleys between the petals act like reinforcing ribs, distributing stress evenly around the base. Why 5 points specifically? This isn't random. 4 points can create a rocking motion, like a wobbly table, where one leg's slightly shorter than the others. 6 or more points would add unnecessary complexity and weight without providing significant additional strength. 5 is the engineering sweet spot that provides optimal stability while using the minimum amount of material. But the petaloid base only solved part of the pressure problem. The sides of the bottle needed their own engineering solutions, which brings us to our second secret: those ridges and patterns you see aren't decorative at all. Look closely at almost any plastic bottle, and you'll see vertical lines, horizontal rings, or spiral patterns molded into the plastic. These are called reinforcing ribs, and they're essentially an invisible skeleton that gives the bottle its strength. Without these ribs, a smooth cylindrical bottle would be extremely prone to deformation under pressure or impact during shipping. The engineering principle here is called stress dispersion. Just like an arch bridge distributes weight along its curved structure, These ribs channel force away from weak points and spread it across the entire bottle. The specifications are precise. Ribs should be 50 to 60% of the wall thickness, with a height no more than 3 times the wall thickness. Too thin and they don't provide structure. Too thick and they create weak spots where the rib meets the wall. This leads us to our third engineering secret, which is actually about what happens when bottles get hot. You've probably noticed that some bottles, particularly juice bottles or sports drinks, have sections that look like they're designed to cave inward. These are called vacuum panels, and they're solving a completely different pressure problem. When manufacturers hot fill a bottle with juice or tea at temperatures around 185 degrees Fahrenheit, they're doing it to kill bacteria without using chemical preservatives. But as that hot liquid cools down to room temperature, it contracts, creating a vacuum inside the bottle. Without somewhere for that pressure to go, the bottle would either collapse randomly or potentially implode. The vacuum panels are the solution. They're designed to flex inward in a controlled way as the product cools, accommodating the volume change without compromising the bottle's structural integrity. It's like having a built-in release valve that prevents catastrophic failure. Our fourth secret involves the manufacturing process itself and explains why round bottles dominate the market, despite some obvious disadvantages. Square bottles actually use about 18% less space than round ones. They pack better, ship more efficiently, and take up less room on store shelves. From a logistics standpoint, square bottles should be everywhere. But they're not, and the reason comes down to the ISBM blow molding process. Making a plastic bottle starts with something called a preform, essentially a test tube-shaped piece of PET plastic with the bottle's neck and threads already formed. This preform gets heated and then stretched using compressed air inside a mold at natural stretch ratios of 2.5 to 3 times the original dimensions. The key word here is stretched. When PET plastic is stretched in 2 directions, which engineers call biaxial stretching, something remarkable happens at the molecular level. The polymer chains align in a way that makes the plastic significantly stronger and more resistant to gas permeation. This is crucial for carbonated beverages, where you need to keep CO2 from escaping through the plastic walls. Round bottles stretch evenly and predictably from the preform. The material flows smoothly in all directions, creating uniform wall thickness and optimal molecular alignment. Square bottles, on the other hand, create stress concentration at the corners where the distance from the center is greater. The material doesn't flow as evenly, creating weak points and making it much harder to achieve that crucial biaxial orientation. This manufacturing reality is why round bottles can typically withstand burst pressures of 150 to 200 psi, while maintaining the precise wall thickness needed for both strength and material efficiency. Our fifth and final engineering secret involves something called draft angles. Tiny details that most people never notice but are absolutely critical to mass production. Every plastic bottle has a slight taper built into its walls. This isn't a design choice, it's a manufacturing necessity. Without this taper, bottles would get stuck in the molds during production. The draft angle ensures that each bottle can be removed cleanly and quickly from the mold, enabling the high-speed production that makes plastic bottles economically viable. Modern bottling lines can produce up to 2,000 bottles per hour per mold, and this is only possible because of these carefully calculated angles and the smooth material flow they enable. Even a fraction of a degree difference in draft angle can mean the difference between efficient production and costly manufacturing delays. These engineering solutions have evolved dramatically since those first experimental bottles in the 1970s. Modern lightweight bottles use 18% less material than bottles made just 5 years ago, while actually becoming stronger through improved rib design and better material formulations. A 500 milliliter water bottle that once weighed 15 grams now weighs as little as 9.3 grams. The environmental implications are significant, and this is where RPT, recycled polyethylene terephthalate, becomes crucial. Over 500 billion plastic bottles were produced globally in 2024, with PT accounting for about 70% of that total. The lightweighting efforts have saved approximately 67,000 metric tons of plastic annually across major bottling facilities. Meanwhile, the integration of RPT has reached 21% globally, with some regions mandating up to 30% recycled content in new bottles. According to NAPCOR, the National Association for Pet Container Resources, this recycling integration maintains the same intrinsic viscosity properties as virgin PET while reducing environmental impact. But the engineering evolution isn't slowing down. Companies are experimenting with plant-based plastics derived from sugarcane and corn, biodegradable formulations that break down naturally, and even nanotechnology-enhanced polymers that provide greater strength with less material. The next time you pick up a plastic bottle, remember that you're holding the result of decades of engineering innovation. Those curves and ridges aren't accidents. They're solutions to complex problems involving pressure dynamics, material science, manufacturing efficiency, and cost optimization. Every element has been tested, refined, and optimized through countless iterations. From J. Rex Winfield's original PET polymer breakthrough to Nathaniel Wyeth's exploding detergent bottle experiment to today's precisely engineered rPET containers, the humble plastic bottle represents some of the most sophisticated problem-solving in everyday manufacturing. It's proof of human ingenuity that something we use without thinking can contain so much hidden complexity. The bottles may not be perfectly round, but they're perfectly designed for their purpose. And that imperfection, it turns out, is exactly what makes them work so well. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like and a subscribe.